I recently got back from a holiday in the US and I was able to pick up a few interesting bits of gear whilst I was there. And I wanted to talk about this one, the leather Gear Toolcard Pro. And basically it's fantastic. I ordered this a while back, and then through some bizarre set of circumstances that I really don't understand, I ordered this, and then what also arrived was this. Another tool card by Exeter, who make wallets, and you can see that it's pretty similar. It's got ruler, bottle opener, box wrench kind of thing, screwdriver, scraper edges, that little SIM card removal tool which is held in with a little magnet. So it's superficially similar, but seriously, the amount of thought that has gone into the leather gear or lever gear version by comparison really just sets it apart. So what makes this one so good? It's got way more functions, but amazingly they don't seem to have compromised on a lot of functionality, the quality of each function to cram more on. So for instance, that bottle opener that you can see at the end here is actually also a couple of hex wrench sizes, really big ones, and they actually work. I just took it down to play around with the bike, and I could turn all but the largest hex nuts using something on this card, either the metric or imperial box wrench, closed ones, because actually it turned out that there were some hex nuts on the bike that are metric and some that were imperial. So if you only had one set, you might be stuck, but this has both. I could turn really big ones, all but the biggest ones, using these ones at the end. And then when you can't reach to get the put one over, then you put the card over the top, then you can use these open wrenches at the side, and they work really well too. And you can also see there's a 1/4 inch and what I think is probably a 4mm precision bit hole in the corners. The 1/4 inch bits do fit. I haven't tested with a 4mm because I don't have one to hand. But you've got a Phillips, like a kind of 2.5D Phillips there. It works. Not perfect because it's hard to get into some screws with that kind of angle, but it works for some. There's a small flathead over on the other side over here. That works. There's a large flathead over here. That works. This is brilliant. This is actually a can opener. Now, another thing that I picked up while I was in the US was the classic P38 can opener. Got one from Canticom, and they cost less than $1, and it works, but it's a faff. It's really kind of difficult to open a can with this thing. I used this thing. Super easy as using a Swiss Army knife. But then also, you could use that as a package opener to cut tape. And inside here, it's actually sharpened, and it's sharp enough to cut 550 paracord. I was really surprised by how well that cuts. It's probably going to be a pain to sharpen, but it cuts, and probably if I get a diamond file, like a cone-shaped one, might be possible. You can also see that you've got measurements, and unlike, say, the Exeter one, you can see that they've just kind of put the measurements in the middle, so you only get 2 inches on the long ways and 7 centimeters at the top. Whereas on this one, they've started the measurement from the edge of the card. So you've got up to 8 centimeters long ways, and on the other side you've got imperial measurements. So you've got 2 inches across the side and 3 inches across the top. Might not be perfect as a straight rule, depending on if you're trying to draw a straight line that's 8 centimeters long, you can see that it's kind of cut away at the corners, and that could be annoying. But it's still good for those quick little measurements that you sometimes need to make. There are these 2 little holes here that don't seem to have a purpose. They're for attaching a money clip, so you can make this your entire wallet, but I've no interest in doing that. I'm just keeping it in my ordinary wallet. I keep it in the middle slot of just an ordinary card holder like this, and it's, it allows enough space to put other things. I did have a Swiss card in there for a while, but I realized that replicated a lot of functions that I had in my pocket with other things, and this gives me a lot of things that I just can't get with a Swiss Army, a small Swiss Army knife, like basically all the wrenches and stuff. You can see that it's got also angle markings. I suspect I will never use those, but somebody might. So basically, this is a really, really decent little tool that does a lot of work for such a small piece. It's much better designed than some of the competition. It's much better than some of those, no brand survival cards that are basically just gimmicks. I think this is actually a really handy piece of kit that's definitely going to be staying in my wallet. The Lever Gear Toolcard Pro is an actual tool, not just a kind of stocking stuffer gimmick kind of thing. They cost $20. This is the black one. They also have a shiny steel one and a stonewash one, which looks pretty cool actually. Maybe I should have gone for that. If you've always written these things off as being basically gimmicks, I would say reconsider, take a look at this one. You can keep it in your wallet. It's TSA friendly. I had a TSA agent look at it the other day. She kind of squinted at it for a second. It also looked at the extra one and passed both through. So if you've been thinking about maybe it'd be useful to expand the functionality in your wallet without adding a lot of bulk, then this is a really solid option.